One girl has lost life by not only a sexual pervert, he's an animal.
Immediately. That's an FIR. That's an FIR.
What are they doing?
That's
Nothing.
We allow vandals to enter the hospital.
It's impossible that 7,000 people
first
can
of all,
gather.
Original writ petitioner on
Your Lordship, I'm
order the CBI was done.
I'm appearing on behalf of the petitioner.
Residents
Number of
of the
interveners.
Yes,
Please,
Not that
I'm
have
appearing on
anybody
behalf of the
calling out-
petitioners.
calling out who they are appearing for. We'd only request the interveners give a slip of paper to the court master indicating who you are appearing for. We'll take that.
We'll
on.
give it, my lord.
Otherwise, we'll spend the next 10 minutes and only,
I am appearing for the Indian Medical Association. We'll give our.
And my lord, I am for the writ petitioner at whose behest the investigation was transferred to CBI.
But the reason why, I must make it clear, the reason why we decided to take suo motu cognizance, we are conscious of the fact that the High Court was entertaining a petition which was filed by here before us, is because this is really now not just a matter relating to a particular murder which takes place in a hospital in Kolkata, but it raises systemic issues in regard to the safety of doctors.
Lord, two more incidents, one in Bombay and one in Ahmedabad after Calcutta.
Let the Chief Justice, please.
There are a couple of things, Mr. Sybil, before we deal with the broader aspects of safety and what we propose to do, we'll tell you in a
I have something to assist on that, neutrally.
briefly on both that. First, on matters of safety, we are deeply concerned about the fact that there is a virtual absence of safe conditions of work for young doctors across the country, particularly in public hospitals. As we know, these are all senior residents, doctors, and most importantly, women doctors who are subject to of graver dangers and vulnerability.
Yeah, vulnerable.
By virtue of the nature of their
Absolutely.
because of gender.
Working hours.
Just and work. Most of the young doctors have to put in somewhere
36 hours, my lord.
we find that there are no duty rooms available, no separate restrooms or duty rooms available for men and women doctors, for the other nursing staff, for the paramedical staff who are also on duty. And therefore, we must evolve a national consensus to ensure that there must be a standard national protocol. Safe conditions of work are provided. This is not a matter of providing protection either to women or protection to doctors in general. It's a matter of creating safe conditions of work. Ultimately, what is equality under the Constitution all about? If women cannot go to a place of work and be safe, then we are denying them the basic conditions of equality. And therefore, we are entertaining this, and I'll very shortly share the way we want to proceed with this to ensure that it's not that every time that there is a rape or murder that the conscience of the nation is awakened. We have to do something right here and now to ensure that these conditions of safety are maintained in terms of protocols which will not just be on paper, but protocols which will be enforced across India. Now, insofar as what happened in Kolkata is concerned, a couple of things from what we have. Of course, first, let me begin by saying that we are deeply concerned of the fact that the deceased who was assaulted and murdered, the name has been published all over the media. Photographs have been published all over the media. Video clips, obviously, either before or after the postmortem have been published.
Right.
Showing her body. Extremely concerning. We are the first to recognize the right to free speech, but there are well-settled parameters.
It is extremely painful. I agree entirely with you.
Have been laid down in now the new criminal procedure code by judgments of our court in Nipun Saxena, that you will not publish the names of the survivors of sexual assault.
Correct.
In this case,
It's a criminal offense.
We have filed 50 FIRs on that count.
And it was circulated, nobody should publish.
But may I just inform your lordships, before the police reached, photos were taken and these were circulated. We didn't allow anything to happen. We cordoned off the area.
This is the way we provide dignity and respect
terrible.
the privacy
Terrible.
of an individual who has lost her life as a young doctor.
Yes.
But apart from that, Ms. Isabel, I'm so happy that you are here for the state of West Bengal. A couple of important, quite a few aspects of the way the matter proceeded. Crime was detected in the early hours of the morning.
Yes.
The principal of the hospital tries to pass this off as a suicide.
Not true. Not true.
Parents are not allowed to see the body for almost.
No, Malad, I'm sorry. Anyway, Malad, this is
Not
the
that
impression.
our investigation
We'll have to place the facts before your lordships. We have investigated that.
By the High
This is not correct.
That no FIR was registered.
That's also not correct. Not correct.
What time was the FIR registered?
Maharaj, in fact, we did what is called a UD case, Maharaj.
UD case.
Unnatural death case registered.
Yes, unnatural death case.
Registered.
But
Immediately. That's an FIR, Maharaj. That's an FIR.
Not the body is discovered.
The UD case can
the FIR registered formally in the police.
Maharaj, inquest was done and then FIR registered immediately and the investigation started.
What time
It should have been done.
the FIR?
12:30.
Does the FIR say that this is a case of a murder?
Yes, yes.
No, it.
No, my lord, we have
Unnatural death.
something.
It was.
We have something.
Unnatural death.
One
Inquest shows it's a case of murder. Inquest shows it's a case of murder.
Inquest is done. The postmortem the autopsy is conducted.
Yes.
Yes.
No FIR indicating that this is a clear case of a murder has been made out.
It has, Maharaj. I'm sorry. I'll place those facts.
Lord, may I suggest?
From
my lord, may I
unnatural death,
suggest-
he registered the case
Lord,
for murder.
That
We caught the victim. He is a civic worker, Maharaj. It's an individual act. I show all that, Your Lordship.
And that's the first aspect.
Yes.
What was the principal doing? Why did he not want? Why was this kind of inaction on the part first an attempt to pass this off as a suicide instead of a murder?
I'm sorry, Maharaj. That's not correct.
Not recording, not registering an FIR till late in the evening. The body itself is handed over to the parents sometime in the evening for cremation. And that's a matter of very serious concern. On the next day, the doctors, because they were all doctors working with her, the doctors are on protest. Group of persons, a mob assembles at the hospital. The hospital is invaded and the critical facilities are damaged in the morning or whenever the mob enters.
Maharaj, we have videos for all. Maharaj, let me first of all state.
Surely, Mr. Sipon,
What?
the police,
Lord,
a very serious offense has taken place. The crime scene is within the precincts of the hospital. Now, that is the first thing that the police have to do, namely to protect the crime scene. What are they doing?
That's
They allow vandals to enter the hospital. And,
It's impossible that 7,000 people
first
can
of all,
gather
first
without
of all-
the consent.
please, one second.
Allow me.
Lord, 7,000 people can never gather without knowledge or consent of the police.
This is not an adversarial
It's
litigation.
not. Therefore, let us not be in denial. One girl has lost life by not only, my lord, a sexual pervert, he is an animal.
Sir,
After the principal resigns from this medical college,
He sent to another hospital.
he's appointed as a principal of another college.
Yes, sir.
He doesn't resign. But anyway, be that as, Maharaj, let me first.
Conduct, at the least, his conduct is under scrutiny.
Lord,
This is all, we have a note
Lord,
on
yeah.
all this misinformation.
Lord, it's not but each other. There is a high court
What
order.
is the reality? Just show it to you.
Let them file the report, not.
But just show it to
Matter
you.
tomorrow.
My lord.
Couple of things which we would like
Would be
to do.
there.
Well, let's make it very clear. We would want the investigation has been handed over to the
CBI.
Bureau of Investigation.
Yes, done, yes.
We want CBI to file a status report before this court on Thursday.
Correct.
We will take up the case on Thursday. We want CBI to apprise us on the status of the investigation. The investigation obviously must be at a very sensitive stage so that it's something which will be submitted to the court.
For court's consumption, not my lord, making it public.
It's really an investigation update
Yes,
status
yes.
report which will be given to us on Thursday. We will consider the status report on Thursday morning and see
Fair.
where the investigation is proceeding. Today, what we intend to do is that today we intend to pass. What we have done is, and three of us, that's why we were in conversation with each other. We have discussed the pros and cons. We are setting up under the authority of this court a national task force. The national task force will consist of a diverse segment of doctors from different parts of the country. We want them to make us recommendations in regard to the modalities to be followed across India. We're not only talking of the Adhikar Medical College and Hospital, but modalities to be followed all over the country for ensuring safety at the workplace first and foremost, for which our young doctors, the middle level doctors, the senior doctors are all today on protest and on strike. At the same time, we would, now that we are taking charge of these proceedings, we are appointing a national task force. It's our earnest request to doctors all over the country who have struck work. There are institutions where I know appointments are taken 2 years in advance. For instance, the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Appointments are taken 2 years in advance. Patients lose their slot. They go back by another 2 years. So we would really earnestly appeal to all the doctors that we are here to ensure, their safety and protection is a matter of the highest national concern. And therefore, this is something which we would earnestly appeal to all the young doctors that this is something, please trust us. That's why we have not left it to just the High Court. The High Court, of course, consists of very seasoned judges. The Chief Justice was monitoring the investigation by the CBI, but we felt that this is now not a matter of a particular offense, however serious and horrendous the offense, but something which affects the institution of healthcare, therefore the need for the Supreme
Malas,
Court.
we welcome this. I think this must be done, Malas. All of us must be very positive. But Malas, I have only one request. Malas, I have only one request. Yeah, sorry.
My lord, I need, my lord, 5 minutes on this, my lord.
Who is the first informant? We were talking about the first information.
Yes.
Who is that first informant? Can you name us, please?
Name him.
Who is the first informant
we
who
just-
lodged the FIR?
The one, I'll just find out, Malas.
And we would also like to know the time of the registration of the
The
FIR.
father of the
Wait a minute, please, don't
Please, don't-
interfere.
yeah.
Don't interfere.
The
please.
first UD case was done by the police on its own.
So that is not an FIR. What is section 174 of the old CRPC today? Can anyone assist us, please?
Yes, what's?
So that's just a report.
Yes, to start the investigation.
Then who lodged the FIR?
83 over.
183.
First, the father of the deceased.
Yes.
Then
And
the
then the
vice
vice
principal of the hospital. First, the father of the deceased and vice principal of the hospital.
No, there cannot be two FIRs.
No, but both complaints were sent to us.
No.
Both complaints sent to us.
Tell us whose complaint is treated as,
Father of the deceased.
this is registered at what time?
That's what.
11:45 p.m.
11:45?
PM.
And now,
Next day, next day.
Yes.
The night. The night, Mother.
The night.
In the
Now,
night.
when is the
hours after.
body, one second, when is the body handed over to the parents for cremation?
Mother, kindly have this
Just
note
tell
that I've
us,
given.
what time is the body handed over to the parents for cremation? One second.
Around 3:30.
13:10.
No.
Therefore, one thing is very clear. Body is handed over to the parents for cremation at 8:30 p.m. The FIR is registered at 11:45 p.m. 3 hours and 15 minutes after the body is handed over to the parents for cremation.
They refused to file. Well, this is the problem. We handed it over. They filed the FIR. They made the complaint at 11:45. They say, we are in shock. Please do whatever you want to do. They wanted a postmortem. We did the postmortem. All is videographed. Everything is videographed.
The autopsy and the postmortem take place.
Between 1:45 to 4 p.m.
Now, between 1:45 and 4 p.m.,
Yeah.
the autopsy takes place, followed by the
My lord,
postmortem.
the autopsy took place at 6 o'clock, not at.
Fair enough, that's all right. We'll take it as between 1 and 4 o'clock. It doesn't take place in 1 minute. It takes
That was
time.
when.
Videograph.
1 second, don't keep on interrupting.
They wanted
So
a board. We
are
constituted a board.
We are proceeding on the basis of Mr. Sibal's hypothesis that the autopsy and the postmortem take place between 1 and 4:45. Now,
Lordship, there is-
notwithstanding this, clearly,
Lordship,
the autopsy would reveal that this is a case where a doctor has been murdered, where she has been murdered. The FIR is registered at 11:45 in the night, Mr. Sibal.
Yeah.
And who was expected to register?
Nobody in the hospital registers the FIR. The father registers what was the principal or the vice principal? What were the authorities of the hospital doing?
They wanted a board. We constituted a board. They wanted a magistrate. We got the
You don't
magistrate.
need
They realize
time
that
for
murder has
registration
been
of FIR.
committed.
You don't need a medical board for registration of FIR.
At the moment, Malas, what are we considering? We are considering, Malas, 2 or 3 things. As your lord, how did these photographs reach the social media?
That's.
No, that's.
I'll mention all this. How did these photographs reach the media? We have nothing to do with it.
No, let
because
us
we
not
cordoned off
trivialize, Malad.
everything. People there took photographs, came in, took photographs and sent it. Number 2, Malad. Number 2, immediately an unnatural death case, Malad, was started and an investigation was started. Your lordships may be right, Malad. Why did it happen? But whatever the parents were doing, we were agreeing with that. We set up a board. We asked the magistrate to come, a judicial magistrate to be present. Everything was videographed. Everything was called. Application was made
of the
before the
authorities of the hospital. Parents are not present in the hospital when the murder takes place. It's the obligation of the authorities of the hospital to register an FIR the moment they
2:45 it was done. 2:45 done. The letter was sent.
11:45 in the
No, 2:45 letter was sent. Since then, superintendent sent a letter at 2:45. It is not 11:30. At 2:45 itself, we'll set out all this. Malaj, it's better we set it.
What we,
Lordships may give me 5 minutes, my lord,
Yes.
to further, my lord, to assist your lord. Let us not trivialize on this side, my lord. We are dealing with one incident, but your lordships are rightly looking at a larger picture. But we are dealing with, my lord, a young doctor, not only raped by a sexual pervert, but who was an animal-like instinct, who had an animal-like instinct, the way, my lord, the body was handled. Thereafter, my lord, I don't wish, my lord, to make this a political issue. I would request the state also not to be in a denial mode. 3 hours of the patient, parents waiting, my lord, is something we can experience if we put ourselves in that position. Now, my lord, so far as the safety is concerned, Lord, one thing I must bring to your lordships, no. Lord, the doctors are genuinely, my lord, have a grievance. They are, my lord, they've lost one of their colleagues, my lord, globally. My lord, out of, my lord, all states, 23 states have legislations dealing with, my lord, what is called for, my lord, Kerala, my lord, so-and-so Medicare service persons and medical service institutions, prevention of violence and damage or loss to the property. There are, my lord, I'll give, my lord, the list of acts. But, this also the National Task Force, my lord, can
The punishment which is provided under.
it's a cognizable, my lord, and
3 years.
3 years.
yes, my lord. It's cognizable, non-bailable, and punishment. My lord, this is first. I'll, my lord, place it. The National Task Force, my lord, which our lordships contemplate, can, my lord, go into this and even make suggestions, and it should be welcome. My lord, second thing, my lord, which is worrying us is even in a well-organized function, if we want the presence of 500 people in an auditorium, we all know we have to make efforts. 7,000 people at the middle of the night armed with lathis and hockeys, my lord, can never be without the knowledge, if not consent. It's complete failure of law and order, my lord, in the entire state.
What time did the vandalization of the hospital take place?
My lord, midnight. It's at midnight, my lord.
I thought my
7,000
learned
people-
friend, he doesn't want to politicize the matter, Malad. Why is he saying all this?
Now,
Let's-
why this is, my lord, important.
Mr. Solicitor, what we'll do is that we'll.
One more aspect. One more aspect. And my lord, again, my learned friend may feel that this is, my lord, but this is directly related to the issue in question. West Bengal has an in-charge DIG.
In
My lord,
charge?
In-charge DIG, Director, who is already being charged and being, my lord, considered by your lordship for having fabricated or otherwise dealt with the evidence in Sharda scam case. My lord, your lordship's
Calcutta
direction
police
is
doesn't come under DGP.
Mr.
Calcutta police doesn't come under DGP. Why are you saying all this?
The
This is
Director
Kolkata
General
police.
of Police
This has nothing
is an
to do with
in-charge
What is all
DGP.
this?
Not let someone else be the
This is
in-charge.
what is happening.
Let them choose, not the man who is already
This is
accused
the
of
kind of
having.
misinformation we are having, Malad.
And,
This is nothing to do, this is a,
Nothing to do.
only a minute.
Malad, whatever your lordship says, we will do. There's no issue. SIT is constituted.
State, you must.
SIT is constituted, but whatever your lordships will say, we will do. We are not, Malad, this is not adversarial, as I said. Malad, just give me just 1 minute. I just handed over something to your lordship. Just have a look at it, Malad.
Already a tainted officer in an affidavit filed before this court should be replaced by any other in-charge DG of their choice.
Malad, just have this.
Another one.
We have set out what is in the media and we have set out the reality.
No, share it with all of us.
We will share it, don't worry.
No.
Kolkata police informed the family members that the present case was
They
a
are
case
in a
of suicide.
denial.
False.
No,
False.
another aspect.
At no time did the police give this information.
Presently, what we indicate, what the broad parameters of our intervention in this matter consists of, we'll just pronounce it very shortly. For one thing, Mr. Sibal, we are very, very concerned. Power of the state of West Bengal be unleashed on peaceful protesters.
I give to your, we
Lord,
have
why-
videos of
Protest
all that
is-
happened.
Peaceful protesters.
Manoj, I agree, and that has not
No,
happened.
no.
1 second. We have videos which we have placed, which we'll place before your lordship. And Manoj, what happens is political parties get into the act and this is what happens.
People who are taking to the media, communicate their views.
Yes.
Let us deal with them with a great deal of.
I agree, I agree.
It's a time of national catharsis.
Look at the girl, don't be in denial.
Manoj, now, for example, they say pelvic and collarbone was broken. Postmortem doesn't say that.
Lordship,
going to
state and the center, they'll keep arguing.
CBI,
Fair.
CBI is investigating it.
Yes.
We will ask for a report from the CBI. Now, what we propose to is,
Just-
1 second, this must stop. We are in charge of the proceeding. We have heard Mr. Solicitor, we have heard Mr. Sibal. If we start hearing all the interveners, there'll be no end to it.
Lordship-
Please have some. We are going to now tell you what we are proposing to do. We are not disposing of the case, but let's allow us to at least pronounce what we intend to do.
The list of acts.
Would your lordship just give us a minute?
On 9 August 2024, a 31-year-old postgraduate doctor at R.G. Carr Medical College Hospital, Kolkata, who was in a 36-hour duty shift, was raped and murdered inside the seminar room of the hospital. As horrific details have emerged in the course of media reportage, the brutality of the sexual assault and the nature of the crime have shocked the conscience of the nation. The name and graphic images of the deceased have been widely circulated on social media. Writ petitions were instituted before the Calcutta High Court seeking, among other things, a court-monitored investigation of the crime and the conduct of the hospital authorities, including the role of the principal of the medical colleges and other officials by a special team of investigating officers. That the parents of the deceased were initially informed that their daughter had committed suicide. They were permitted to see the dead body after several hours, and a first information report in regard to the murder was registered belatedly by the police after several hours. By its order dated 13 August 2024, the High Court transferred the investigation to the Central Bureau of Investigation. Agitations and protests were called by doctors' associations, student bodies, and civic groups across the country. On the eve of Independence Day, several areas in Kolkata saw protests spurred by the Reclaim the Knife campaign. At 12:30 a.m. on 15 August, when a protest was underway at the hospital, a large mob assembled at the premises of the R.G. Kar Medical College Hospital and vandalized the emergency ward and other departments of the hospital. Following the acts of wanton disruption and vandalism, the Indian Medical Association, a private and voluntary organization of doctors in India, called for a nationwide withdrawal of medical services except emergency services for 24 hours on 17 August 2024. In the aftermath of the brutal incident and the demonstrations which followed, nationwide protests following the brutal incident in R.G. Kar Medical College Hospital have brought the issue of the lack of institutional safety for doctors to the forefront. Medical associations have consistently raised issues of the lack of workplace safety in healthcare institutions. Medical professionals, in the performance of their duties, have been unfortunate targets of various forms of violence. Hospitals and medical care facilities are open throughout the day, and medical professionals, doctors, nurses, and paramedic staff work round the clock. Unrestricted access to every part of healthcare institutions has made healthcare professionals susceptible to violence. Patients of relatives in anguish are quick to attribute untoward results to the negligence of medical professionals, are immediately followed by violence against medical professionals. In May 2024, two on-duty doctors were allegedly attacked by relatives of a patient who died during treatment in a hospital in West Bengal. In another incident in May 2024 in Bihar, following the death of a 25-year-old pregnant patient, a nurse was allegedly pushed off the first floor of the building by the kin of the patient. In August 2024, a final year resident in a hospital in Hyderabad was allegedly assaulted by a patient's attendants after the patient died due to medical condition. These incidents of violence are a few among the many that have been unleashed against members of the medical community in the recent past. They are portents of a systemic failure to protect doctors, nurses, and paramedical staff in the confines of hospitals. With few or no protective systems to ensure their safety, medical professionals have become vulnerable to violence. With the involvement of systemic issues for healthcare across the nation, this court has had to intervene. Women are at particular risk of sexual and non-sexual violence in these settings. Due to ingrained patriarchal attitudes and biases, relatives of patients are more likely to challenge women medical professionals. Female medical professionals also face different forms of sexual violence at the workplace by colleagues, seniors, and persons in authority. Sexual violence has had its origins even within the institution. The case of Aruna Shanbag being a case in point. The hierarchy within medical colleges and the career advancement and academic degrees of young professionals are capable of being affected by those in the upper echelon. The lack of institutional safety norms at medical establishments against both violence and sexual violence against medical professionals is a matter of serious concern. While gendered violence is the source of more malevolent manifestations of the structural deficiencies in public health institutions, the lack of safety is of concern to all medical professionals. Preserving safe conditions of work is central to realizing equality of opportunity to every working professional, including intensive care units and the doctors' resting rooms. H. Lack of screening for arms and weapons at the entrance of hospitals. I. Dingy and ill-lit places within the hospitals. J. Medical professionals have to shoulder the responsibility of being both medical and emotional caregivers to patients and their relatives. There are no supportive facilities and no training and communication skills. And K. Certain spaces within hospitals, such as the intensive care unit and the emergency wards, are prone to a greater risk of violence because of the severity of medical conditions of patients in these departments. We have, in this backdrop, formed the view that a national consensus must be evolved after due consultation with all stakeholders on the urgent need to formulate protocols governing the issues which this order has highlighted. With the following members of the medical profession is hence constituted: Chairman and Managing Director, Asian Institute of Gastroenterology and AIG Hospitals, Hyderabad; Dr. Pratima Murthy, Director, National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, NIMHANS, Bangalore; E. Dr. Govardhan Dutt Puri, Executive Director, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Jodhpur. 6. Dr. Soumitra Rawat, Chairperson, Institute of Surgical Gastroenterology, GI and HPB Oncosurgery and Liver Transplantation, and Member Board of Management, Sir Gangaram Hospital, New Delhi, and Member Court of Examiners of the Royal College of Surgeons, England. The following shall be the ex officio members of the NTF. A. The Cabinet Secretary to the Government of India. B. The Home Secretary to the Government of India. C. The Secretary, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. D. Chairperson of the National Medical Commission. And E. President of the National Board of Examiners. The NTF shall formulate effective recommendations to remedy the issues of concern pertaining to safety, working conditions, and well-being of medical professionals and other cognate matters highlighted in the above segments of this order. The NTF shall, while doing so, consider the following aspects to prepare an action plan. The action plan may be categorized under two heads. 1. Preventing violence, including gender-based violence against medical professionals. And 2. Providing an enforceable national protocol for dignified and safe working conditions for interns, residents, senior residents, doctors, nurses, and all medical professionals. Prevention of violence against medical professionals and providing safe working conditions. A. Ensuring due security in medical establishments. Triaging departments and places within the hospital based on the degree of volatility and the possibility of violence. Areas such as emergency rooms and intensive care units are prone to a greater degree of violence and may possibly need additional security in place to deal with any untoward incidents.